I mean, she feels good. Like there's no binding. There's no nothing. It's nice and smooth. Well, I've been a little bit delayed on the project that I wanted to do. I got the forks all redone and they came out, I think, just perfect, exactly what I wanted, which is to say the internals are all fresh, new seals, new bushings, a new progressive spring and spacer kit. The tubes polished up beautiful, but the legs are still as funky as they started off. Now, what I don't have is there you go, is a rear wheel and chain on here to be able to turn this over. Might have to resolve that issue before getting way too far ahead of myself. But I want to get these pistons off and just see what they are, because I don't know if anyone's been in this engine. I always thought that maybe when I clean them up you'll be able to see something, but they're completely flat. I don't know why in my head I thought that these pistons were supposed to have a like some valve reliefs or something. I don't know. No big deal. I'll figure it out. Let's get some paper towels in here though, just to kind of close this up a little bit before I pull these wrist pins out. Just in case. It's always a good idea, right? At least that's what I'm told. I don't know. No, I don't like to leave open holes. Now, I believe these should be some sort of a clip. At least they're free, so that's one good thing. I saw a video where it was like there's some sort of tool to remove the wrist pins, but that didn't make much sense to me, because if you need a tool to remove them, well, that tells me that they're probably not free, and I thought they were supposed to be. Oh, that'll work. That'll work just nice, I think. Get underneath this clip and get this clip out of there. Beautiful. Should be able to do the same to this one. This one's already there, already in position to pop out. I like this. This is one of the things I gotta say that I really liked about how Harley put their pistons in. It's funny because to me, like, full floating wrist pins and stuff is like, that's why you put something where the crankcase is open. Aha. It's always nice to find what you drop. All right. We're good. We should be good. Let's see. This should come out, no? Is there a little bit of a... Like, they're free. They're 100% free. Interesting. Maybe they need a little bit of persuasion. A little bit more than just a finger. That's... Or maybe they do need a tool. Huh. A little too big. Totally free though. Well, that's slightly annoying. I can say that when I took the Fat Boy apart, they just slid right out. But it looks like I might need some sort of a tool, or maybe just a little bit of thought. Well, it looks like I'm gonna have to probably make up some sort of wrist pelt puller. Best I can figure, there's got to be a burr on the edge. I pulled the clips out on the other side just to see if it would go out. It didn't. And I'm not gonna beat on this thing, you know. I a little tap with a hammer just to see if it'll go. That's one thing, but I'm not gonna sit there and beat the hell out of the piston while it's on the rod, have the rod, you know, screw up and stuff like that. Slightly annoying, but I can pull the lifter blocks, so we'll do that. The front one is the one that I believe, I got to look into these bolts. It was said that I can use lifter block bolts for the rocker boxes, and I think that is a brilliant idea. So I want to see if that's the case. And what better time than when you have the rocker boxes off? Yeah, that would, you know what, it'll help on this bike, but reality is it'll really help on the Fat Boy, because that thing is just super, super tight. And to be able to get a 12-point quarter-inch wrench on there, be a nice touch. Be a nice touch for sure. I think this ratchet's starting to go out. What size are the wrist pins? So now, while I'm doing this, I'm sitting there thinking, all right, I'm gonna need a piece of pipe, bigger than the wrist pin, probably big enough to sit on here. Then I'm gonna need a bolt or a piece of threaded rod with a pair of nuts, maybe a washer. It can fit through, but the nut or whatever has to be small enough to be able to come completely through the piston. This is literally like the things I'm thinking about while taking these lifter blocks off. Because sometimes there are things that are going to slow you down that you can't help. It's something that unavoidable, out of your control. Like, for example, I wanted to do the steering head bearings. And I have the tool now to do the races and whatnot. That's not the problem. The problem is on the lower triple here, on the Fat Boy, and that's what I thought this was. On the Fat Boy, you just press the steering stem out, and that's how you get the bearing out. Now, some people are probably going to know exactly what I'm referring to here. On this one, the steering stem's welded in place, which means you cannot press it out. You have to pull the bearing out. And as far as I can tell, it doesn't have to come out much before it comes free. But in order to grab it, there's a tool. And Motion Pro makes it. Motion Pro, I have a bunch of their stuff. I have no complaints. So I ordered it. It's on Amazon. 2-day delivery. Beautiful. I'll take that. It shows up the other day. To Amazon's credit, they made the delivery. They delivered the bag that the Motion Pro tool was shipped in. What they didn't deliver was the actual tool, because the bag was empty. So had to get on the phone with the, well, not on the phone, but had to get on the app and start chatting. It's modern day phone, I guess, you know. and get them to send me a replacement, which is not due for a couple of days now. I know, rubber mallet, don't have one, should have one, but piece of wood and a hammer, just fine. Now, I don't know if I'm gonna learn anything from this. Let's see. Wheel on this one looks good. Might just be collapsed. And this one looks good too. Not that it matters. Clean these up. Get new lifters. Just praying that the cam looks okay, because that would suck. Let's get this one out and try not to knock any dirt in. Clean that up. Let's see. How do these look? Pull these seals out. I mean, they feel all right. Everything looks okay. I think a fresh set of lifters will go in without a problem. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Got everything out of there. Ooh, let's see. Cam. Cam looks good. No scoring, no nothing. Let me see if I can get in there a little bit. Look good, no? I think she looks good. Alright then. So let me put some more paper towels in here so I can clean some of this dirt off and not send it into the cam chest, because that would suck. You know what else I want to pull off? I want to pull this off. See if I can. Because my friend Deano said that he had a little bit of a lifter tick. I think he said he had a lifter tick. I don't remember that part 100%. But he did say that the little filter in here, it's in here, I think. The little filter in here, he said, I don't remember the exact quote, but I think it was petrified fossil. So I'm curious if we can see what the one in this bike looks like. Petrified fossil. It's worth taking a peek at, changing anyway, right? I think so. Let's see. Oh, there's oil there. That's a good thing. It's a good sign. Let's see. A spring and a filter. You know what? All right. Not a petrified fossil. Actually, I think pretty clean. A good sign or a bad sign? I don't know. I do not know. But I'm going to change it. That's like really clean, actually. Like you can see through it. Huh. Irrelevant. We'll change it. And for now, I'll pop this thing back on just to keep any dirt from going in there. Just gotta not forget that I took the screen out. I don't think I'll forget that. Pretty easy to remember, I would think. I don't know. I'll remember that. Yeah, because I'll have a screen around. All right. Well, back to coming up with a tool to remove these wrist pins. I'm so irritated that I actually need to do some sort of a tool. Because like I said, the Fat Boy came right apart. Let me investigate. Well, one thing I don't have to worry about, because I was curious about these pistons. Just curious if they were factory pistons or aftermarket to make sure I get the right ring pack. And at least, I don't know if you can see in there, but at least I can verify that they are Harley Davidson pistons. So that's a good thing. And so far, I mean, I want to rotate the motor once the pistons are out, but everything seems okay. No play. The rotating assembly seems, yeah, pretty free and clean. I'm actually kind of impressed. I expected it to maybe look a lot worse than that. And skirts are all right. A little bit of scuffing, but you know, nothing compared to some of the stuff I've seen. Damn, paper-based gaskets are annoying, and they're stuck on here, which means some careful cleaning. But I want the pistons out of the way first. So, like I said, let me figure out a removal tool of some sort and get back to this as swiftly as possible. So here's what I've come up with. I have a 27mm socket. I have a length of 6mm threaded rod, which was not purchased to do any of this stuff. All right, I ended up using this rod to do the valve adjustment on the 959 Ducati, and I will likely use this rod to do the valve adjustment on the V4 because that's almost due. But I actually purchased this to reinforce, well, not reinforce, add in a support bracket that was supposed to be on the Tuono V4's luggage right here. Unfortunately, the kit was designed with the factory taillight in mind, and I don't have the factory taillight. Well, no, I have the factory taillight. I don't have the factory tail section because it's ugly. And who wants to leave stuff factory, you know? So, I have no idea if this will even work, but a little bit of thought and a little bit of searching some of the forums, actually, because I will say this is one time where I'm not going to say YouTube let me down, but couldn't really find a video on somebody makeshifting this. Everything is like, oh, buy this tool, buy this tool. Yeah, well, this tool costs like $130. You know, this is not my bread and butter here. This is not something that I'm going to do more than, you know, well, this is the second time I'm doing it. 10, 12, 15 times, I don't know. Point is, I didn't see a point in spending money on something that maybe, and I say this, maybe, I can make work with stuff I had lying around. Oh, all right. This is the test. Let's see. Let's see if this pulls the wrist pin out. Now, everything that I've seen on this has shown the wrist pins move with, I think it's going, with relative ease. Like there's a burr on the edge. When I get these pistons off, I think I'm gonna take a look at if there's a burr and clean it up on both sides. It feels like it's just going. Oh boy, please, come on. I really would like to get this thing apart and order some engine parts. because everything else has been pretty cool. You know, the suspension, I'm thrilled with how the suspension's coming together, even though it's not actually coming together, but I'm thrilled with how all the parts that are going to be bolted here are coming together. I think this thing's gonna ride out to Sturgis real nice. Let's see. Oh, like, I don't know how far I should go with this. I'm just gonna, oh, let's go fast. I mean, it's obviously, oh, it's way the hell through, yeah. Let's see, come on. Come all the way through. Would a tool have helped? I don't know. I don't think so. I think, oh look, the piston's rocking. Oh, it's almost out. This is exciting. And it's kind of cool because the tool is holding the piston together. So, come on. Oh, you get tired. I'm getting old. Let's see. If I can, it'd be awesome if the tool, well, if my makeshift tool actually pulled it enough to get this thing completely off the rod. I don't care if it doesn't come completely out. I bet you the tool is holding it on the rod right now. Yeah, I don't care if it doesn't come completely out of the piston, because I can always knock that out in the press or whatever once I got it removed. I'm just gonna be psyched if what I had lying around works. I'll be honest, I would have, this is day 2 of working on this project. I would have had it done on day 1, except I couldn't find this threaded rod. And I had other threaded rods and I could have used it maybe, but I kind of got it in my head. I'm like, I know what to use. I have what to use, but I couldn't find what to use. Oh, there we are. Oh, there goes the, oh, it was almost out. So, what do we have here? We have a Harley Davidson piston. I wonder if somewhere, well, I gotta clean the top, see if I can find some markings, maybe something that'll tell me, and I'll measure. I wonder if this thing's never been apart. That'd be wild. Let's see. I'll tell you what, the fit on the rod, is beautiful. Well, this will clean up nice, I think. Oh, this will clean up real nice. It's gonna clean up. I'll put it on the ground. Okay. Second piston. Yeah. I like this type of stuff though. And it's funny, I was talking with my father before, and I guess I'll put it in the bent side first. He actually has a wrist pin remover, I guess from early on. Like, I kind of wonder about that though, because he said it's 4 engines that have the wrist pins pressed onto the connecting rod. Now, I know how hard those are to come off. It really kind of makes me wonder what kind of engines he was removing wrist pins on like this. And it's not something that goes on a press or anything. You know, he said it's literally a tool similar in design to this. I know he's worked on some crazy stuff through the years, especially, you know, back in Europe before he came to this country. We're talking about, you know, just post World War II Europe. Makes me wonder what he worked on. You know, I know he tells me stories about engines. They kind of, from the stories, they remind me of hit and misses, but they're not. They're two strokes. But but talking about, you know, having to, okay, let's rock this piston like this. He tells me stories about having to, well, that freed up stupid quick. About having to, like, use heat. Testa calda is one of the ones he would tell me about, where it was a 2-stroke diesel, and you'd have to use heat to warm the head up to get it running. And it was like centrifugal starting, which if you've never done centrifugal starting, oh, you want to talk about a workout. And by the time you get this thing going, you are done. He also told me a funny story about that particular engine, that particular tractor that used the centrifugal starting, the 2-stroke diesel, is that if you would lug it going like up a hill, there was always a chance where it could fire off backwards. You imagine that? You're full throttle going up a hill, this single-cylinder diesel is struggling, and then it slows down so much that the weight of the tractor causes it to go backwards full throttle. And a 2-stroke diesel doesn't care. You know, a 2-stroke diesel, air through the exhaust or the intake doesn't matter to it. This one feels like it had less of a ridge than the other one. This one feels like it's just gonna come all the way. Or I could be wrong, but it just keeps coming. It's got no resistance whatsoever. So I guess they build up a ridge when you're using them, when, you know, over the years. I don't know. I do not know. Like I said, the Fat Boy, man, the Fat Boy came right apart. This is apart now. If it pulls this thing all the way out, beautiful. Beautiful thing. Like it. Oh, there we go. All right. Similar Harley Davidson HD. Similar piston. It'd be cool. I wonder if this thing will pull it. It's got like a long way to go. This is a learning experience for me. I'm gonna hold the piston because I don't want to drop it. Imagine that, drop it, and it, I don't know, something happens. That's as far as it goes. You know what? I'll pull the wrist pin out the rest of the way. Inside on the press or the vise or whatever. But I am happy. The pistons are off. We're there. We're getting there. So I think at this point, I'll do some measurements. Make sure I know what rings to order. And then place the order for the rings, place the order for the gasket set. I think I'm leaving this in place. It's not leaking. And I did the ignition module. I might just throw a wrench on the bolts, make sure they're snug. But I don't think I'm going to take that off. Well, maybe I'll look inside, see if I can see the breather gear. But as clean as the inside of this motor looks, I'm not worried about it. In the meantime, though, while I wait for those parts to come, I have all the suspension stuff pretty much in for the, well, actually, for the front and the rear. Well, not the swing arm, though, because I think I'm going to do, she don't look bad, huh? Looks like it was running all right. And considering this thing was sitting, it was driven for 20 years all across the country, and then sitting for 20 years, abandoned. I think she was running all right. It's got way less carbon buildup than the Fat Boy had when I took that one apart. Alrighty then. There's something I want to do. While I'm at this point, let's just get a feel for the rotating assembly. I mean, she feels good. Like there's no binding. There's no nothing. It's nice and smooth. Yeah. Man, this thing is gonna be, I think this thing's gonna be beautiful. Oh, it was pumping some oil though, which is a good sign. Which is a very good sign. All right. Well, for the moment, I'm gonna put these paper towels back in, plug these holes up. Good times. It's a good way to spend a February evening, right? Wrenching on a Harley. Wrenching on an old Harley. Not that new junk. Not that it's junk, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, dokie. I think that'll do for today. I think we're going to do some boring stuff, measuring pistons and determining the right rings. We know the wrist pin bushings look good. Cam looks good, so lifter's got to be ordered. I think we're in a good place. Even though there's not much time left, but I think we're in a good place. Oh, that's maybe not the best place. It's all right. What do we say? Ain't going nowhere. Okie dokie. Well, I think this mission is accomplished. I know where I've got to go. I've got direction. So, until the next time, everybody stay warm, ride safe, have a great day.